Hello, everyone. My name is Jamaal Solomon. I am the CEO and founder of J.S. Tax Corporation, which we provide tax services. I also have a youth financial literacy organization called Crypto J Means Business, where we teach kids about entrepreneurship, financial literacy, money, all that good stuff. And also I do insurance. So what that means is I do a little bit too much. So maybe I need to chill out or something like that. But on this series of the show, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees, I have learned that I have been very blessed to have, friends that are very impressive that I could call and text in any industry. And I have learned through the pandemic that a lot of people don't have that luxury. I think a lot of people that I know within my circle, they kind of assume that, you could text a doctor, you could text an attorney, and we're not talking about no bum doctor's attorney. We're talking about some high level type of people. And I think we got to the point that we kind of keep it amongst ourselves and it stays within our circle. So this whole series is basically just to give you a clue of, these people that I trust. Anybody that's on here, I have a lot of trust and respect for, and we usually have long conversations, but we're not going to make it long. We're just going to talk about one topic. And then if you want to contact that person, contact that person. So today I got with me Dr. Dominique Reese. It's very hard to do an intro about her without getting too emotional. So if you see like a tear, just blame it on like allergies or anything like that. So just stay with me for a second. So I don't know if she knows, and I don't know if I told her, but she gave me two huge business like confident boosters, right, in my career, whatever the case may be. So she's like one of those rare people that no matter how big I get, whatever stage I talk to, if she calls me or texts me, she's one of those people like, yo, I gotta do it, whatever, where I'm at. And here's the first one. So the first one is, I don't know if she knows, but she was one of my first clients ever when I started my own tax firm. She was probably definitely within the first 10, but she was the absolute first one to find me through my website. And my website at the time was horrible because at the time I wanted to save money, so I did it myself. And I'm not a web designer. That was my biggest business lesson right there. But it was a confidence booster because I'm like, wow, this impressive person looked beyond my horrible website and said, you know what, let me at least give him a try and interview him and see like, what's going on. And I was like, wow, maybe this might work out. Maybe I don't have to always work underneath somebody for the rest of my life. And maybe I could, strike off on my own sometimes. So that's the first one. And then in the second one, I believe she left me like after 2 or 3 years. I'm like, you know what? It happens. I'm not, it's all good. So I wasn't really expecting her to keep in contact, whatever, stuff like that. But then she referred me, and I'm not going to say the person's name, to one of her close friends, right? And this close friend is like super impressive. Like you got to really be on point. So it's one of those friends that you can't really refer them to somebody as like kind of suspect or that's going to embarrass you, because this type of person would eat you up alive. And I can say that from experience. And she's still my client. So obviously we get along well. So our first 5 years, she really gave it to me, but I love it because she taught me that, you know what, you always got to be on point no matter what client you have. You know what, if they have the most difficult question or the most simplest, you got to answer it, and it has to be detailed, because our first 5 years she wanted extremely detailed responses. Now we cool, we know each other, it's been like 10 years, whatever. But I'm like, if I could get this person, because this person could clearly get whoever tax accountant she wants, she could leave me in a heartbeat. Trust me. And but that we know I got A, referred to her, and B, that we still have a long-term business relationship. Anytime I draw back and I have like some confidence issues, I'm like, all right, this is why I could do it. This is why I could do big stuff. So with that said, I want to introduce you to Dr. Dominique Reese and let her tell her a little bit about herself.
Wow, I did not realize that. So thank you for sharing that with me. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Dominique, and I am a financial consultant and strategist. I help people with their money, and specifically for me, what that means is that I help my clients to increase their income, increase their savings, and decrease their debt. And that's through a proprietary finance system that I created called Master My Money. Um, and we cover 8 core areas of your financial foundation, which include your mindset, your budget, your savings, your debt, your credit, your income, and your protection. And I've been doing this for a very long time, about 18 years now. As Jamaal mentioned, we go way back, and it's just such an honor and a pleasure to be able to support him in what he's got going on, but also to spread the message of financial well-being. So I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, and you know what? And what I learned about teaching a lot about financial literacy, and this is why I'm not so heavy on terms, is that I think even if you know all the terms by heart, if you don't have the mentality for it, it doesn't really matter. And I guess since you do a lot of stuff publicly, people kind of know your background story. You're like one of those people that if you just never saw her, didn't know her personality, but read her accomplishments and what she did, and what college she went to, where she worked at, you'd be like, okay, this is clearly like a senior VP at a bank or something like that. But you took like a total different route, like mission based. How was that?
Yeah, thank you for that, because I need those reminders sometimes,
Uh,
especially as an entrepreneur. I definitely took a more mission-based approach to the work I do. And it really was, it happened to me because I got laid off. I was working at Merrill as a financial advisor, managing about $4 million, and 2008 rolled around. And then at the end of 2008, I literally was sick for about a week and I was out of the office. I went back into the office and my manager is like, oh, we need to have a meeting. It's like, okay, cool. Had the meeting, and that was the last time I worked there. So at the top of 2009, I got laid off and was like, all right, what do I do now? And I wasn't sure because no one had prepared me for layoff. They always said, go to school, get good grades, go to college, graduate, get a job, get an apartment. I did everything. I did all of that. I knew what I was supposed to do, but layoff, nobody prepared me for a layoff. So at that point, it was like, I don't know what to do. So I went to Paris for 10 days and was going to figure it out. And by the time I got back, it was like, listen, I really enjoy doing financial education workshops and attracting people for the education. But I realized it wasn't my millionaire clients who was showing up to those workshops. Instead, it was hardworking, everyday people who wanted the information as well. And so that got me thinking, all right, well, who's working with those people? The people who have tons of debt, little to no savings, modest income, but no assets. And because they didn't have assets, I couldn't work with them at Merrill Lynch. So as I became unemployed and started to think about what it is that I would do, I'm like, well, those are the people I want to work with. I want to work with the people who the big firms are overlooking and that the nonprofits really can't service, because the nonprofits really only offered crisis counseling for credit, or when something was really bad with someone, debt consolidation. No one was really offering a comprehensive offering to help people get their money in order. And so that's where Community LLC was born at that time in New York City. And I've been doing the work ever since.
And I love that you was able to share that, because I didn't want to assume that you would share that. But I think a lot of times, especially me dealing with a lot of clients, and also I deal with a lot of people with humongous big tax problems. I feel like the common theme is that they kind of give up. So a lot of people, if they was in your situation and they had that top job, and I dealt with the situation a lot with people that I work with, they like give up. And that's why, I like to think I'm different when it comes to financial literacy, because I'm like, you could be the smartest person in the world, you can have that top job, but there's going to be stuff in your life that's going to humble you. It's not about if, it's about when. So when it happens, what are you going to
What you
do?
gonna
Are you
do?
going to just like, oh my God, my boss don't like me, I'm done, I'm stupid, boom, boom, boom. Or you're going to say, you know what, let me look within myself, or let me see what else I could do, because I'm a valuable person, and I'm going to keep on going. Yes, it's hard, because with me, I'm not a corporate person. I don't want to work in corporate America, so it's hard for me. But,
Yeah.
you got to get up. And when people see me, they're like, oh, yeah, you're speaking here. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had like public speaking issues only like 3 or 5 years ago. I had to keep on getting up to get to this
Right.
point. So guys, and that's what the main thing I want to talk to, because I'm so inspired by her story, that we want to talk about what will it take for you to be financially independent mentally. Like what has to be your mindset to say, oh, if all your friends is like, oh, you're cheap, you're not going to this trip, you're not balling out of control. Like, what does it take in your view?
That's such a great question. First, we start with the idea that money is personal. So because it's personal, that's the first barrier to block out what other people say or think. It's okay if they say you're cheap. It's okay if they say you're not balling out of control, because you have a different financial blueprint than they may have. And so we like to call that blueprint, ideally, your financial mindset. And having a mindset that is, one, motivating versus limiting is where we want to begin. So what does that mean? Well, there are typically two types of mindsets, a motivating mindset and a limiting mindset. Motivating mindsets motivate you to work towards the things you want in your financial life, whereas limiting mindsets limit your ability to work towards the things that you want out of your financial life. So what might some of those things be or sound like? A motivating mindset. Well, let's start with the limiting mindset, because it's easier to talk about what ain't than it is what it is. So limiting mindsets typically have those words like can't, won't, try, but, should. I can't save because I don't make enough money, or I can't create a business for myself because I'm not smart enough. It's a limiting mindset about what you're capable of, compared to a motivating mindset, which might look like, although I don't make a lot of money right now, I will save something over nothing. So you compare that to, well, I can't save because I don't make enough. And you start to see that one, it really begins to explore the possibilities of what I'm capable of, whereas one just shuts down the possibilities completely. Another example might be, well, while I don't know everything about starting a business, I can Google. Very simple. Again, it begins to explore the possibilities of what you can do. And so when we start there about mindset, it really requires some self inner work. That's why I say money is personal, because no one has the same financial background, situation, or goals. So you cannot base what you're doing and how you're operating in your financial life based on what someone else is saying, based on what society is saying, or even based on what you know, because what you know is even limiting. Like no one in my family, to my knowledge, but it's a fact, has ever purchased a home. No one. So if I've never seen it, how do I honestly know what it means to purchase a home? I don't. So if I were to work off of that alone, I may not be on track to purchase a home. But because I am who I am and I have financial goals, I want to be a homeowner. So what do? You begin to research. You begin to talk to people who you might know who have a home. You begin to explore what it could look like, even in your mind, to have a home, to walk around your home, to vision. And so that's why mindset becomes so important. But the mindset that's required is one that's motivating. You've got to be able to shift from any limiting mindsets that you might be speaking aloud or even living out. Identify it as such, a limiting mindset, and then begin to shift. So when you talk about shift, well, how do you shift the mindset? First step is to identify it. Is it motivating? Is it limiting? This is awareness. Once you identify it, you want to identify the new or motivating mindset that you like to shift to. Just like I said, okay, I don't know enough about business to start one. However, I can Google. Okay, that however I can Google is where the possibility lies. So that's the mindset you want to shift to, where there are solutions. And once you've identified the new motivating mindset, now you have to begin to identify behaviors that you can take action on to actually do something. So Googling is the behavior. Why? Because money is behavioral. It's personal and it's behavioral. So what you do about money is when you're going to start to flex those money muscles. Again, it's a behavior. So behaviors take what, 30 to 90 days to adopt, especially if it's a new one. So if you haven't been doing this, you got to get into the practice of doing your money, especially if you haven't been doing it before. So researching about business, talking to business owners, reading books about business, those are all actions that you can take that now support the new mindset that you have. And once you begin to do that, you on the inside begin to change, your mindset becomes more motivating, and you'll begin to see the outcomes of that mindset and the behavior.
Wow, that was a lot of gems right there, man. See, guys, I do financial literacy, but I'm like, what's the equivalent of me? I'm like that McDonald's, like you go there one time because you're hungry. You know it's bad, but he's hungry. So I do like the one-off financial literacy, get y'all thinking. But when y'all go to somebody like Dominique's level, she gets real deep into it. She stays with y'all. She's like the healthy food store that you want to keep on going to is good. So man, listen, because I believe it's only Black females that you do right now, or can like males and anybody else could go?
Great question. So while I tend to attract Black women, I also have male clients.
Yeah,
Actually,
we
just
got
signed a
problems. We
male.
got money problems too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My people, come on, I'm here for
Yeah.
you. I work with anyone who's a good fit for me.
Okay.
So my marketing might target Black women because I tend to work with them, but the message resonates with whomever it resonates with. So for me, everything in divine order. If you find that what I'm saying resonates with you and you want support, I'm not going to not work with you until it's determined that we're not a good fit. And if we're not a good fit, then I will refer you to someone who could be a better fit for you.
Yes, yes. And believe me, people, if I'm interviewing this person, I'm 1000% behind them. And that's the main reason why I'm interviewing them. So I highly recommend that you definitely look up her stuff. Definitely look up her information. If you or yourself know anybody that might need her to speak or be her financial coach or whatever case may be, this is definitely the person. So can you give them how to contact you?
Absolutely. So you can reach me via the website at reesefinancialservices.com. You can call me because, people don't call, but I appreciate phone calls. You can call me at 213-787-4399, or you can email me directly at Dominique, DOMINIQUE, at reesefinancialservices.com.
And we're gonna put
And
this
I'm on
info up.
social media as well. So
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, Dr. Dominique Reese. I'm on Facebook at Master My Money, and I'm on Twitter at Reese Financial.
So basically, if you can't find her, you're not serious because it's like, come on. Like,
That
don't
part.
ask me for the number. Like, she gave you like 20 different resources to get to her. So that's on you. You don't want to be financially independent if you can't find her. But
I'm
I mean,
Googleable.
yeah, there you go, man. People know her. All right, Google her. Yeah. So yeah, so thank you for coming out. You dropped a
Of
lot of juice,
course.
and like I said, man, we usually could get long conversations, and I'm glad that people could get a glimpse of the knowledge that you have and what we talk about. And all right, people, until the next interview, have a good one. Peace.
Peace.